New York Travel Guide. New York is the most populous city in the United States and the center of the New York metropolitan area, which is one of the most populous metropolitan areas in the world. New York City has a significant impact on global commerce, finance, media, culture, art, fashion, research, education, and entertainment. As host of the United Nations headquarters, it is also an important center for international affairs. The city is often referred to as New York City or the City of New York, to distinguish it from the state of New York, of which it is a part. Located on a large natural harbor on the Atlantic coast of the northeastern United States, New York City consists of 5 boroughs: the Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, and Staten Island. With a population of 8.4 million distributed over a land area of just 305 square miles, it is 790 kilometers squared. New York is the most densely populated major city in the United States. As many as 800 languages are spoken in New York, making it the most linguistically diverse city in the world. The New York metropolitan area's population is the United States' largest, estimated at 19.1 million people distributed over 6,720 square miles, what is 17,400 kilometers squared. The New York metropolitan area is also part of the most populous combined statistical area in the United States, containing 22.2 million people as of 2009 census estimates. New York traces its roots to the 1624 founding of New Amsterdam as a trading post by Dutch colonists. The city and its surrounds came under English control in 1664, and was renamed New York after King Charles I of England granted the lands to his brother, the Duke of York. New York served as the capital of the United States from 1785 until 1790. It has been the country's largest city since 1790. Tourism is one of New York City's most vital industries, with more than 40 million combined domestic and international tourists visiting each year in the past 5 years. Major destinations include the Empire State Building, Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island, Broadway theater productions, museums such as the Metropolitan Museum of Art, green spaces such as Central Park and Washington Square Park, Rockefeller Center, Times Square, luxury shopping along Fifth and Madison Avenues, and events such as the Halloween Parade in Greenwich Village, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, the St. Patrick's Day Parade, seasonal activities such as ice skating in Central Park in the wintertime, the Tribeca Film Festival, and free performances in Central Park at Summer Stage. Special experiences outside the key tourist areas of the city include, but are not limited to, the Bronx Zoo, Coney Island, and the New York Botanical Garden. In 2010, New York City had a record number of tourists with 48.7 million. Since the United States economy is still recovering, Mayor Michael Bloomberg's goal is to break the record again in 2012 by drawing more than 50 million tourists. New York landmarks. Naturally, Manhattan possesses the lion's share of the landmarks that have saturated American popular culture. Starting in Lower Manhattan, perhaps the most famous of these landmarks is easy to spot: the Statue of Liberty, a symbol of the nation standing atop a small island in the harbor, and perhaps also the most difficult attraction to access in terms of crowds and the long lines to see it. Nearby Ellis Island preserves the site where millions of immigrants completed their journey to America. Within Lower Manhattan itself, Wall Street acts as the heart of big business, being the home of the New York Stock Exchange, although the narrow street also holds some historical attractions, namely Federal Hall, where George Washington was inaugurated as the first President of the United States. Nearby, the World Trade Center site is undergoing construction of a memorial to the victims of the September 11 terrorist attacks. Connecting Lower Manhattan to downtown Brooklyn, the Brooklyn Bridge offers fantastic views of the Manhattan and Brooklyn skylines. Moving north to Midtown, Manhattan's other major business district, you'll find some of New York's most famous landmarks. The Empire State Building looms over it all as the tallest building in the city, with the nearby Chrysler Building also dominating the landscape. Nearby is the headquarters of United Nations overlooking the East River and Grand Central Terminal, one of the busiest train stations in the world. Also nearby is the main branch of the New York Public Library, a beautiful building famous for its magnificent reading rooms and the lion statues outside the front door, and Rockefeller Plaza, home to NBC Studios, Radio City Music Hall, and during the winter the famous Christmas tree and skating rink. Still in the Midtown area but just to the west, in the Theater District, is the tourist center of New York, Times Square, filled with bright, flashing video screens and LED signs running 24 hours a day. Just to the north is Central Park, with its lawns, trees and lakes popular for recreation and concerts. Museums and galleries. New York has some of the finest museums in the world. All the public museums, notably including the Metropolitan Museum, which are run by the city, accept donations for an entrance fee, but private museums, especially the Museum of Modern Art, can be very expensive. In addition to the major museums, hundreds of small galleries are spread throughout the city, notably in neighborhoods like Chelsea and Williamsburg. Many galleries and museums in New York close on Mondays, so be sure to check hours before visiting. The following is just a list of highlights. See district pages for more listings. Arts and culture. New York City is home to some of the finest art museums in the country, and in Manhattan, you'll find the grandest of them all. The Metropolitan Museum of Art in Central Park has vast holdings that represent a series of collections, each of which ranks in its category among the finest in the world. Within this single building you'll find perhaps the world's finest collection of American artwork, period rooms, thousands of European paintings including Rembrandt's and Vermeer's, the greatest collection of Egyptian art outside Cairo, one of the world's finest Islamic art collections, Asian art, European sculpture, medieval and Renaissance art, antiquities from around the ancient world, and much, much more. As if all that wasn't enough, the Metropolitan also operates the Cloisters, located in Fort Tryon Park in Upper Manhattan, houses a collection of medieval art and incorporates elements from 5 medieval French cloisters and other monastic sites in southern France in its renowned gardens. Near the Metropolitan, in the Upper East Side, is the Guggenheim Museum. Although more famed for its architecture than the collection it hosts, the spiraling galleries are ideal for exhibiting artworks. Also nearby is the Whitney Museum of American Art, with a collection of contemporary American art. In Midtown, the Museum of Modern Art MoMA holds the most comprehensive collection of modern art in the world, and is so large as to require multiple visits to see all of the works on display, which include Van Gogh's Starry Night and Picasso's Les Demoiselles d'Avignon, as well as an extensive industrial design collection. Midtown is also home to the Paley Center for Media, a museum dedicated to television and radio, including a massive database of old shows. In Brooklyn's Prospect Park, the Brooklyn Museum of Art is the city's second largest art museum with excellent collections of Egyptian art, Assyrian reliefs, 19th century American art, and art from Africa and Oceania, among other things. Long Island City in Queens is home to a number of art museums, including the PS1 Contemporary Art Center, an affiliate of the Museum of Modern Art, and the Museum of the Moving Image, which showcases movies and the televisual arts. Science and technology. In New York City, no museum holds a sway over children like the American Museum of Natural History in Manhattan's Upper West Side. Containing the Hayden Planetarium, incredible astronomy exhibits, animal dioramas, many rare and beautiful gems and mineral specimens, anthropology halls, and one of the largest collections of dinosaur skeletons in the world, this place offers plenty of stunning sights. near Times Square in the Theatre District. The Intrepid Sea, Air and Space Museum takes up a pier on the Hudson River, with the aircraft carrier Intrepid docked here and holding some incredible air and spacecraft. Over in the Flushing district of Queens, on the grounds of the former World's Fair, is the New York Hall of Science, which incorporates the Great Hall of the Fair and now full of hands-on exhibits for kids to enjoy. Neighborhoods. Like all great cities, New York is made up of distinct neighborhoods, each of which has its own flavor. Many of the neighborhoods are popular with visitors, and all are best experienced on foot. See individual borough pages: Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, and Staten Island for a comprehensive listing of neighborhoods. Parks. Though the image many people have of Manhattan is endless skyscrapers and packed sidewalks, the city also boasts numerous lovely parks, ranging from small squares to the 850-acre Central Park, and there are worthwhile parks in every borough. From the views of the New Jersey Palisades from Fort Tryon Park in Upper Manhattan, to the Grand Pelham Bay Park in the Bronx, and the famous Flushing Meadow Park in Corona, Queens, site of the U.S. Open tennis tournament, there is more than enough to keep any visitor busy. And almost any park is a great spot to rest, read, or just relax and watch the people streaming past. To find out more about New York City parks, look at the New York City Department of Parks and Recreation